Good evening and welcome to the November 25th, 2024 legislative session of the Salisbury City Council. In the event of an emergency, we ask that you please remain calm, exit through the double doors that you came in, make a right, and proceed to the stairwell. If the hallway is blocked, then exit to your left, around the corner, and down the stairs. Please do not use the elevator, and let us know if you need any assistance. If you wish to speak during the public comment period of the agenda, please complete a form from the table by the door and give it to the city clerk at the end of the night towards the public comment piece. So this time, and again, if you want to make public comment, just hang tight and hold that there until the end of the agenda. You will have 4 minutes to speak. Please silence your cell phones, and at this time, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And just as a housekeeping measure, we do have Councilwoman Gregory joining us via Zoom. At this time, we invite Reverend Dr. Vaughn Hayden from Trinity United Methodist Church to give the city invocation.
Thank you. Let's pray. Almighty God, we're so grateful that we could be a part of this town, this city of Salisbury. We thank you that we can have this meeting tonight. And we pray that your Spirit would be here, that you would help us to make good and wise decisions that would help better the whole town, the whole city, that everything we do and say would bring glory and honor to you, as we are thankful as we approach Thanksgiving for the many blessings you give us, and we think this city is one of them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Reverend Hayden, thank you so much. On tonight's agenda, we'll have the consent agenda, which will be presented by our city clerk. Ordinances number 2900, approving a budget amendment for FY25, appropriating funds from the Salisbury Fire Department. Ordinance number 2901, authorizing the reallocation of federal recovery funds from the Water Sewer Fund. Ordinance number 2902, to accept funds from MDHCD to purchase and install cameras to the parking garage. At this time, I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the legislative agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor of the legislative agenda as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda for reading.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Good evening, Council. On the consent agenda, we have one item. It is resolution number 3373 to appoint Deborah Reynolds to the Youth Development Advisory Committee for term ending November 2027.
All those in favor of the consent agenda as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. And I see we have Deborah Reynolds here if you want to stand. Thank you so much for your addition to the Youth Development Advisory Committee. And also, again, congratulations to this here is our 2024-2025 Wacomico Teacher of the Year as well. So we are honored to have you as part of our committee. Yes, we can't wait to see the work you'll do there.
Thank you.
And we do have Mom here as well. She is definitely proud of you. All right, we'll pivot to our ordinances. I will entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2900 for second reading.
So moved. Second.
Good evening, everyone. Ordinance number 2900. This is an ordinance of the City of Salisbury approving a budget amendment of the FY 2025 general fund budget to appropriate funds to the Salisbury Fire Department's operating budget. As you mentioned, this is before you for second reading. There have been no changes or amendments since first reading.
All those in favor of ordinance number 2900, please signify by saying aye.
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 Sorry.
And the chair votes aye. I will entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2901 for first reading.
So moved. Second.
Ordinance number 2901. This is an ordinance of the City of Salisbury authorizing the reallocation of federal recovery funds from the Water Sewer Fund to the General Fund and to appropriate said funds for Service Centers Share 2 and 3 in the General Fund. Whereas the City of Salisbury appropriated funds for Water Sewer Share 3, Service Center, Garage, and Water Sewer Share 2 Service Center administrative projects using the Federal Recovery ARP funds, and Ordinance 2660 regarding the FY22 budget. And whereas during the annual review of the ARP funding and project status, it was determined that PAYGO funds would be a better source of funding for the service centers Share 2 and 3. And whereas the city found $1,061,109.17 in PAYGO funds that are available for Service Centers Share 2 and 3 projects. And whereas the funds from Service Centers Project Share 2 and 3 are proposed to be reallocated to the general fund to fund public safety expenditures, allowable ARP expenditures. And whereas the budget amendment as provided herein must be made upon the recommendation of the mayor and the approval of 4/5 of council. Section 1 of Ordinance 2901 reads, the City of Salisbury's Water Sewer Fund budget and FY25 General Fund budget be and hereby is amended as follows. And I'm just going to go ahead and read line by line. Decrease revenue, Federal Recovery Funds, account 96022456450430007 by $500,000. Decrease expense, construction expense, 96122513026430007 by that same amount, $5,000. Decrease revenue for Federal Recovery Funds, account number 96022546450430012 by $561,109.17. Decrease expense for construction expense, account 96122513026430021 by that same amount, which is $561,109.17. Increasing the FY25 General Fund budget, PAYGO. Increase revenue for Federal Recovery Funds, account 01000-456450 by $1,061,109.17. Increase expense transfer to general capital projects, account number 91001599109 by that same amount, which is $1,061,109.17. Reallocating PAYGO funding to project service centers Share 2 and 3. Increase revenue, PAYGO funds, account 469,313-43007 by $500,000. Increase expense, construction expense, account 98122513026430007 by that same amount, $500,000. And increase revenue, PAYGO funds 98022469313-43021 by $561,109.17. Increase construction expense, account number 98122513026430021 by that same amount, which is $561,109.17.
All those in favor of ordinance number 2901, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. I will entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2902 for first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Ordinance number 2902. This is an ordinance of the City of Salisbury to accept funds received from the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development for the purchase and installation of cameras on the parking garage. Whereas the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development has awarded the Salisbury Police Department $80,000 for the purpose of purchasing and installing cameras on the parking garage. And whereas the Salisbury Police Department desires to use these state funds to purchase and install said cameras to improve safety and security in the downtown area. And whereas Section 7-29 of the Salisbury City Charter prohibits the city from entering into an agreement that requires an expenditure not appropriated or authorized by the council. And whereas the appropriations necessary to effectuate the purpose of this donation must be made upon the recommendation of the mayor and approval of 4/5 of this council. Section 1 of Ordinance 2902 reads, the City of Salisbury's grant fund budget shall be and hereby is amended as follows. A, increase DHCD revenue account 10500, 423-601-XXXXX by $80,000, and B, increase equipment expense account number 10500577030XXXXX by that same amount, which is $80,000.
All those in favor of ordinance number 2902, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Thank you, Ms. Boucher.
You're welcome.
At this time, we will pivot to the public comments portion of the agenda. I will call them in order of receipt. Thank you. Ms. English. Just a few notes before we get started. Again, you can hang on to your forms until this portion of the agenda. Ms. English will make sure that they're called in the order of receipt. Please come to the podium to deliver your remarks. We ask that you please be respectful in your delivery of your comments and concerns. Please do not direct any remarks to any one council member or member here. Again, you can relate it to council or administration or the mayor's office. We ask that, and please make sure you say your name and place and your city of residence or your relation here for the record as well. We'll start off with Jonathan Moore. Yes, thank you. Good evening.
Hi. Oh, okay. Hi. So I'm Jonathan Moore. I live here in Salisbury. Well, I live like 100 feet over the line, but I have an address and whatever. I'm here with actually one of my neighbor friends and our kids because we've had a really bad speeding problem in our neighborhood. We've put in tickets with incident reporter. I've talked to city police. I've talked to county police. I've given out license plates of people that are doing stuff, and nothing has been done. We had was it 2 weeks ago, somebody's cat was hit and killed because people treat our neighborhood like a drag strip. We'll be out on walks probably every day, and I've had to pull my son off the road because somebody came flying down at us. I feel like I should explain where I live a little bit, shouldn't I? I live down off Emerson Avenue behind Deer's Head Hospital, for context. So we're just kind of tired of it, to be honest. I'm really, we're at a point as kind of a neighborhood. We have a little community Facebook group, and we're all like, okay, we're done, because we've almost been hit countless times. People's cars have been clipped, sometimes by school buses that are racing down our street. So we're just kind of sick of it, and that's why we're here. I don't really know what solutions are there. We've joked about speed bumps, cameras, all of this. We had, I think it was a county cop came and hung out for a little bit, but they were there for a day, and then of course everyone sees them, so they slow down. Somebody put in, I think it was the county, put in one of the cameras that triggers your speed, but it's off most of the time, which is very counterproductive, and it's also not in the spot where everyone speeds. To be blunt, somebody blew down my street going about 80 over the summer, and it's a 25, I think, if that sounds correct. So yeah, I'm just sick and tired of it, and I kind of wanted to bring it to y'all's attention because there's a ton of kids in this neighborhood, and it keeps growing. And I'm a little bit worried about my child's safety, my wife's safety, all of our friends. So yeah, I don't really know what we can do, but yeah, kind of sick and tired of it.
Thank you for your comment, and I have your email here, so we'll be in contact soon. Thank you.
All right.
Lynn Bratton.
Good evening, everybody. As you know, my name is Lynn Bratton. I live on South Boulevard in the city of Salisbury, Maryland. I've been here, I just figured out 50 years. I kept telling everybody I was 40, it's 50. I moved in 73. So I got a little longevity here. I attended the 3-hour plus meeting with the Planning and Zoning Commission last week. And there was some amazing kindness given from both sides to each other. I think there was a lot of fantastic information that was shared. Unfortunately, at the end of the 3 plus or 2.5, whatever it was, there was no discussion amongst the panel. There was no conversation about what to do next. At the request of one of the commissioners, there was even a request that we table it and think about all the hours of information they had just heard and all the myriad of emails and letters and comments they had all received from the public. And the commissioner chair just moved it straight in. He said, no, we have to make a decision today. He went right straight into a litany of a reading from a document. I didn't see him taking notes as the meeting was going on, but there was a scripted, very well scripted motion presented with lots of findings of facts, like number 1, number 2, number 3, very, very precise, very organized, and very, very, as I said, written before the meeting was even held. And there was also a comment from like I said, from one of the commissioners to delay it, and that was shot down by Chairman DeShiel. There was another comment from one of the commissioners to please have a roll call vote, or whatever you might call it, where so-and-so is called on and they say yay or nay. And Mr. DeShiel said, no, we won't be needing that, I don't think. And then went right straight to the vote, and obviously it was a 6-1 vote. And it all just seems so well scripted that again, I'll go back to my theater days. It looked like the play was written, the director was in the room, and everybody knew what they were going to say before they actually were called on to say it. It was just already memorized. So I'm just commenting that I was very disappointed in the fact that so many people took their time to spend 3 hours here, and that was the way that their testimony was treated. I don't think it was absorbed. I don't think it was listened to. I think the $500,000 that was given out at the table at the very beginning carried a lot of weight with decision-making, and I just felt as though it was it just saddened me the way the whole thing turned out. Whether the decision was one way or the other, it saddened me that the process turned out the way the process turned out. And that's what I'm trying to say. The decision is the decision, but it was the process that we achieved that decision that I felt like emotions weren't taken out of the equation and the facts weren't looked at. We had a wonderful presentation from our DID folks, all the reasons why it shouldn't have been approved, and almost every one of them were in the findings of facts as to why Mr. DeShiel felt they should be approved, almost all of them. So that's what I wanted to say. I just wanted to go on public record to say that I was disappointed in a board that had 7 members, that's the way they treated the public with all their comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Robert Taylor.
Good evening, Robert Taylor, Salisbury resident. The first thing I want to do is compliment a member of the police department with whom I had some dealings over the weekend. Did a very polite and professional job. I won't mention the name because I don't know whether the person would want me to, but you know my name and you can look it up, I'm sure. And it turned out we both grew up in the same county from across the bay. Had a little personal conversation. That's not really why I'm here. Why I'm here is to say just briefly on Ordinance 2901, this was reallocating the federal recovery funds. There was a lot of government gobbledygook spouted a few minutes ago. I know they have to do that, but I think it's important to point out this was the end, I think, of our federal recovery program COVID money. This was allocated for a capital project that apparently either hasn't been built or the money wasn't needed. It's now being put back into the general fund. No objection to that. In fact, if we didn't do that, I think we would have to give it back to the federal government, which we don't want to do. But I think this should all be pointed out. That's why we're doing this. That was not clear from the bureaucratic stuff. And it's a good move to do it. It will go into the general fund. So when we get our next financial statement, there will be another $1 million in there of surplus, but that's why it's coming. It was not spent for what it was originally allocated for. Just a point worth noting. The thing I'm really here for, and let's get back to the density and the planning and zoning meeting. As part of the public record on that, there is now a letter on the City of Salisbury stationery, Salisbury City Council, July 31, 2024. I'll just quote from it. The purpose of this letter is to convey the City Council's stance on the development of lots 1, 11, and 15, and the need for a proposed text amendment of the City Code. Continuing on the second page, to carry out the city's adopted policies for the redevelopment of downtown Salisbury, as well as the intent of the agreements the city has entered into for use, reuse, and redevelopment of properties already sold by the city, the density permitted in the CBD must be increased. Continuing further, please accept this letter as the City Council's support for the proposed text amendment, blah, blah, blah. Now, it's signed by all 5 council members. Obviously, this is a city council decision. However, one council member, and I won't mention the name. If that person wants to identify themselves, that's fine. It's a free country. One of the members has also written to the commission a little bit later, saying the reason for this letter is to withdraw my signature supporting the letter to you regarding the development of lots 1, 11, and 15, as so on and so forth. I was asked to sign the letter left at the city receptionist desk downstairs during a retirement party for Kim Nichols. I had no previous knowledge of this letter, and there was no council discussion about this letter being submitted to your commission. So what's happened here is something has happened outside of a public meeting. And I think the members who signed this letter and knew what it was need to identify themselves, because if there are 3 such members, then that constitutes a quorum, and this is what's called a walking violation of the Open Meetings Act. We need to get that straight. We also need to know who initiated this letter, and I'm
Thank you,
looking
Mr.
at
Taylor.
you, Mr. Dowdy.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
How about telling us when we get to the council comments? Thank you.
Thank you. Holly Worthington?
Holly Worthington. I reside at 212 South Claremont Drive in Salisbury, Maryland, as well as I own Worthington Realty Group located at 300 West Main. Per the envisioned Salisbury plan, Lot 15 was to remain surface parking, not slated for development. I don't know if you guys are aware, but again, this lot was sold for development when they decided to build Unity Square, taking away from the acreage for the development in lots 1 and 11. They threw lot 15 into it, but per envisioned Salisbury plan, that was to remain surface parking, so turning that into development does not coincide with the original plan. The zoning change proposed for 40 units per acre to 80 units also does not coincide with our comprehensive plan. Now, another thing I found out today, because I have tenants that reside above me, one of which is handicapped, in addition to agents and other people, in addition to my friends over at the Opportunity Shop, I wanted to know where people that utilize Lot 15 and the other parking around are going to be displaced to shall development occur. We were told if permit holders cannot access lots 1 or 11 due to landowners' actions, we may park in the parking lot or lot 10 without additional steps or cost. Again, mind you, I have a lady with a handicap permit. If parking is not available or is unavailable in the parking garage or lot 10, you may park in lot 30, then in lot 35. So here's a little bit of notes for reference. Lot 30 is sold for development to Green Street Housing, LLC, and they are prepared to develop, as they noted at the zoning board the other day, and that is across the bridge over by Brew River. Lot 10 is the old flea market. I'd say it's a pretty far walk from Main Street, where the shops and all that are, as well as Circle Avenue or Market Street. Lot 35 is scheduled to be used as parking for the land sold by the marina adjacent to Brew River, so that's another lot they're telling us possibly we could park in. If you view the map, which is provided by the city of Salisbury, lots 1 and 11 and 15 are the areas where handicapped persons who are visiting West Main Street, Circle Avenue, and Market Street would park utilizing their handicap permit to visit the downtown. They will all be alleviated with the new development. Where will those people park during development and thereafter to visit the downtown? In looking at that map, according to that map, there's 12 spaces that are handicapped, but actually walking it's 13 spaces. And again, that's patrons that would be coming to utilize those spaces to visit Main Street, Market Street. The closest one would be at Market Street Inn, and also Circle Avenue. We just housed a person renting downtown that also is wheelchair bound that has concern of it as well. So just want to put it out there. There's a lot of things that need to be taken into account when you're looking at this overall project, not just, let's allow an overscale project to occur. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa Gingrich.
Yeah, Lisa Gingrich, 316 North Division Street. Good evening, council and others. I just wanted to express my disappointment also in the planning and zoning meeting. Ms. Bratton already touched on one of my points about how it was handled, and so I won't touch on that again. But I also wanted to add in that I'm very concerned, looking at looking at the commission and looking at the developers, looking at other interested parties, how many members are members of the Greater Salisbury Committee, which is a private club basically that masquerades as a civic organization. You have to pay money to belong to it. It's very much, they pick their own members, just like any private club would. And when I see people belonging to that on both sides, you've got to wonder, I ask the question, is where is the allegiance? Is it to the city and to the commission, or is it to the citizens, or is it to their private club and the membership? And I'd also like to say about that meeting is there was a lot of talk about affordable housing. I don't think anybody argues that affordable housing is always a good idea, but the development in question was billed as luxury for 800 square feet. Back last year, it was $1,795, which is $1,800 for one bedroom, up to 1,400 square feet for $2,495, basically $2,500. That's not particularly affordable, but yet that was the basis on which almost the entire discussion was made, and the trying to get it to be higher density is affordable housing, affordable housing, affordable housing. So this is really the wrong project to be basing that argument on by a long chalk. So again, no one's arguing that more housing is good. Some of the points made by one of the people that spoke were so generic as to be, how are they even connected with this project? But again, it's all based on affordable housing, and this project is not affordable housing, as I think everybody likes to think of affordable housing. So very disappointed to see that that wasn't brought up as well. So I guess for that, bringing up, seeing so many members on both sides of the Greater Salisbury Committee and wondering where their allegiance is, plus how the whole meeting and the voting and everything was conducted. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other public comments, we'll continue forward to administration updates and comments. I'll pivot to administration.
Just one quick one. Downtown Holiday Lights is next weekend on December 7th. Please join us. It is from 4 to 7 p.m. It will be live music, holiday market, and then a tree lighting at the very end. So come on out and enjoy that. And then we have Small Business Saturday this Saturday downtown. So come shop downtown. That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know we're going to get into this in future hearings relative to this zoning hearing, but I too attended the zoning hearing for 3 hours. I was equally disappointed. I feel like we've evolved from arguing points that protect and I think enhance our city to trying to win an argument with bad facts. In my view, I served as the Historic District Commission chairman for 10 or 11 years, and the way we did it was we had a findings of fact on the record, and then we made a motion based on those. And I was very disappointed to learn that there was a scripted, pre-scripted set of facts that really weren't even, I don't think, sufficient or consistent to make a motion, a sustainable motion, in my view, for this recommendation to the council. That said, listen, nobody is accusing anybody of anything, but I guess, at the end of the day, we would hope the things that get done properly, and in my view, it wasn't done properly. And again, we go back to this winning the argument versus trying to make things better for the city. I think that's what we need to kind of take back and take a step back. This is a super big problem. None of the issues that were raised at the lower zoning board and the appeals board were answered. So the ones that they even made an issue of in the beginning and at the appeals board level, neither were addressed. They never solved those problems. They just said, okay, we're going to make 40 density to 80 density, and there we go. Presto changeo, bring out the mappo, as my history teacher used to say. But, at the end of the day, I think, again, trying to make a better city, trying to protect our downtown is all I'm about. And that's all I'll say on that front. And again, I come with a humble attitude to try and fix this problem. That said, Thursday and Friday, we're going to be closed for Thanksgiving. So if you get your trash picked up on those days, you'll have to wait till the following Monday. The following Saturday, December 7th, we'll have the tree lighting. So we'll have a meeting between now and then. But just to get it on your calendar, come on out for the tree lighting. The mayor, and I assume the council will be out. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll pivot to council comments. Councilwoman Gregory, do you have any comments?
I just want to second the call for folks to visit downtown this weekend for Small Business Saturday. It's always a lot of fun. The businesses down there put a lot of work into getting prepared for it. I'm looking forward to it. Apologies for not being there today. We had someone test positive for COVID in my house, so that's fun. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Gregory. And again, we're always thinking of you and your family, and we hope that your family stays safe this holiday season. Councilwoman DeShield.
Yes, I have a couple of things. Thank you. I went to the town gown meeting over at SU, and there was a nice turnout for that last week. I was impressed again with what the athletic department is doing over there, and a lot of their students are participating and volunteering in our community, so it's a nice connection. There will be PJ in my district. There's a new coffee shop for those of you that like coffee, PJ's Coffee. And the ribbon cutting is on December 5th at 4 o'clock. Again, please, please, please volunteer for Hands and Hearts Ending Homelessness. Just go online, Google Hands and Hearts Ending Homelessness, and you can sign up for the registration or to bring a meal for our men that will be there for 5 months. And hello, the final phase 5 for the aviation school at the airport, they got their sign-off today, I believe. So the FAA has signed off, so they're ready to roll in January. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and thanks for turning out to support us.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Jackson.
Good evening, everyone. I'm also wishing everyone a happy and a blessed Thanksgiving. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends. Thursday and every day, for real. Every day is Thanksgiving to me. I would like to announce that I am having my organization, Salisbury Advisory Council on Youth Activities, is hosting our 8th annual Senior Citizen Christmas Dinner and Gift Giveaway. We've done this for 8 years. It's 60 plus. You have to be 60 plus to come, but you get a free meal, you get a gift, you have fun, you dance, you just enjoy yourself. And it's December the 14th, 2024. It's on a Saturday, 12 to 5, and it's at the Richard Hazel Youth Center. And we're still accepting donations of gifts and food articles. So if you would like to donate, you can give me a call. My number is 410-726-8478. Thank you all, and have a blessed evening.
Thank you, Councilwoman Jackson. Council Vice President, I know you're... Do you have any comments?
Yeah, just briefly. April, what time is that senior Christmas? Does that start at 6?
12.
Oh, in the afternoon?
12 to 5.
Oh, 12 to 5, thank you.
You know, I got to get the seniors home early.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry.
That's my club. That's got my kind of club.
I have to get you seniors home early.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't catch that, did you?
Well, I just want to say, of course, happy Thanksgiving. And it is a season to be thankful. Give thanks for your health and donate blood. You can also donate plasma. And always consider being an organ donor. It's always a blessing to save a life. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Thank you all of Council for highlighting the community events and things going on here locally. And thank you, Councilwoman DeShield, for stepping in. I could not be in attendance at the town gown meeting, so thank you for attending that as well. A couple things here. Yeah, I know we had quite a long and the longest planning and zoning meeting that I've attended since I've been on planning and zoning, and it was actually about 5 hours in total. 4 hours was the second agenda item, so it was a long moment there. And just to kind of point out a few things, I won't go through in detail, but one, the development in question, even though we were voting on the actual text amendment, but the development in question, I don't quite remember, the affordable housing piece coming up with that specific project. That's not the reason why the decision was made. The developer never really said that their project was going to be affordable housing. They've always mentioned that it was luxury housing. Again, adding more units will in turn should help with the market pricing of market rate units in the community. So again, that's not deemed as affordable housing. But on that same note, how we address those things here in our community is to have conversations with developers who do have pending and want to develop properties in our community. And that's what I've spent my time on outside of chambers here and outside of my job, is to have conversation with developers who want to build homes here for homeowners and rentals. Is how can we bring the price point down? So I've had conversations. The mayor's been a part of those conversations, and I've been on some of the same ones at different times. So again, just today I had a conversation with a developer to say, hey, listen, we need this price point here in our community. That's what's deemed affordable, not really affordable in the 30 to 80% AMI, but that's what we need as this price point. So that's how we begin to address these issues in our community, is to have conversations with developers when they're formulating their pro forma and their bottom line, to say, hey, listen, what do you need at the table? How do we get there? And how do we address the need in the middle? That's how we do that, is to continue to have the conversations. Yeah, so we have to be a part of the conversation, and we can't be afraid to address it there when it's happening. And I think one thing that we're noticing is that, when we get to that point, is that the special exemption piece that we're not able to use in our city because it was deemed not being congruent with state law, is actually hindering some of those projects that we're going to get to the table here locally that will work to address that middle market of persons who don't qualify for affordable housing but cannot afford those premium market rate luxury homes. Again, that special exemption is one of those tools that the city and the county are able to use to increase density to help out those developers, to make sure that the bottom line ends up matching. So now we're at a point where we can't even bring other projects to the table and have shovel hit the dirt because we can't use that special exemption feature that has been used for decades. So I know that, or we're going to work to make sure that we can address that issue, because again, we do have developers who do want to bring those developments here, but we got to figure out how can we do that. And that's not with one developer. It's not the development in question. These are other developments that we've got to figure out how we can get that to the table. So that's just it. It just need to be. And also, I understand folks made some disappointments in the meeting, but I was just a little alarmed that, again, my name came up in question, I think 3 to 4 times during that meeting, in my employment. I mean, that's just not what I deem is to bring my name in question in my employment, which, again, we all have our expertise and what we bring to the table, but to bring up my relation to someone making a public comment to say that I can't make a decision and set the two aside, that's disappointing. That is disappointing, is to have the focus be on one of the commission members and their employment. And I'll leave that at that. I was honored to attend the PCS Presidential Citizen Scholarship Program just before today. They have 2 projects that's going to impact our city. One is a survey, which they are going with a strengths-based survey. Usually surveys you take are needs-based, but this is a strengths-based survey to see what do people appreciate about our community. And this with Somerset County and with Wacomico County. And the second project is they're working to do a street mural on, I believe it's Light Street, whatever the street is that's next to the Newton Street Community Center. Now, those are proven to actually have traffic calming measures and actually bring community input. So they're working with that Rachel Manning is assisting them there, so I can't wait to see that actually come through. And they're working with some speed bump and some of the legislation that's going to help us out and help out our community with safer streets. So definitely proud of them and excited to be a part of that program there. I do want to mention again, we said it last time, we talked about it at our Greater Salisbury Committee, that the Mayor's Business Roundtable, the City of Salisbury Tire Recycling Center, I know that's one of the Mayor's top concerns here in the area, so we're just getting some information on that, and we'll continue to make that a conversation to just see if that's going to pan out here locally. And as always, just to echo my my fellow council members' thoughts, we wish you all a happy holiday, happy Thanksgiving, and we are honestly thankful for you all. So that's it for today, and we'll see you next week. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move. Second.
All right, this meeting is now adjourned.